Alright, so what is going on, guys? I'm coming at you with my COD World War II campaign review. I'm splitting my review up into 3 parts, multiplayer, campaign, and zombie, so go check out the other 2 if you haven't yet. But let's get right into the campaign. So, World War II is coming out. I'm hoping that, you know what, I don't expect it to have a super great campaign. In my opinion, Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 2 had the best campaigns in the series, followed by World at War and Modern Warfare 1. Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite campaign of any video game of all time. And I was hoping, World War II would at least have something. In the trailers you see, it looks like there's a good squad together. Josh Duhamel's coming in as the main celebrity in the game, as Call of Duty likes to put in nowadays. And really, it just fell flat of my expectations. I was expecting, some kind of good storyline, and it really broke my heart that there wasn't even a storyline to this game. So I want to quickly get into this, the missions, the story, the characters, and then just the overall single-player experience. So, you're starting out on the beaches of World War I, and the game itself wants to go over the fact that war is hell. That's kind of the main point of this campaign. It's kind of bringing out the worst in World War II, that war is just utter, complete hell. And it starts you off after you go through a cutscene meeting, for some of the squad mates, which was kind of cringy. You do the D-Day mission, and every man on Earth that's over the years of fucking 5 years old has seen the Saving Private Ryan opening scene, the D-Day with Tom Hanks, and everybody knows the scene where the guy's running around looking for his arm. There's the burning people coming out of the boats, everybody just getting mauled down by machine gun fire, and the fact that anybody can recognize that scene in Sausage Party, it just shows how famous that scene is. And everybody kind of knows just that's what World War II can be at its top. And Sledgehammer, Call of Duty, they tried to replicate that in the first mission. The radio operator's arm just fell completely off. There was the people coming out of the burning boat, and really it just did not make any sense or have any emotional appeal when you watch that all, and they're trying to portray the point that everybody's getting slaughtered, and then they're like, alright Daniels, go run up the fucking hill and just slaughter everybody back. Really just took that whole emphasis off of the game, and that's kind of the way most of the missions were. In typical Call of Duty style, you're running around with a submachine gun, just lighting up everyone. The only thing that was different about this campaign is that you have like the little health packs instead of regenerating health, and you also have teammates that can supply you with stuff. The other complaint I have about the missions is that really they're so short and all, and this mission, Stronghold, is one of the worst missions in my opinion. Basically all you do here at the end of the day, even though some of it's like lengthened out a little bit, all you do at the end of the day, we cleared a house and just went into the church, and then we cleared out the church, and then we go up into the sniper tower, we sniped some guys in the courtyard. Ziles and Sussman took out anti-aircraft, but we didn't do that, we were just cover sniping for them. And then we left the church, the whole bell tower fell, and we just held off some enemies. That's pretty much it. You think about it, think about the total area of the map you covered in that mission. You literally went from a house inside of the church, sniped from the church, and then left the church for like 7 seconds to hold off the waves of enemies coming at you. And really, it was just shit missions like that. Now I want to go over the actual storyline. Like I said, I was expecting some kind of story in this game. I know for World War II, it's a little more difficult because it follows the actual war. You can't piece it together like Black Ops or Modern Warfare 2, where it's just completely made up, and it's not like an entire war except for, the second half of Modern Warfare 2. It's like special missions operations. And honestly, the fact that this story, it wasn't a story really, it was just, a whole squad fighting in different missions. And the way you can tell that this isn't a story, the difference between, this kind of Call of Duty style campaign versus an actual story is you could have taken any of these missions out of the game and it would not have made any difference. It would not have made any impact at all on the story. With this story, most of times you take any scene or element out of a story, the rest of the story won't make any goddamn sense. Like Modern Warfare 2, if you take out that airport mission or the EMP mission, you're losing a whole chunk of the goddamn storyline. Black Ops 1, you take out any of those missions with Reznov coming at you, or I think about it, the big launch area mission. It just takes such a chunk out of the storyline. And World War II, what happens if you took any of those missions out, like this Stronghold mission, or the one earlier mission with the French girl, it wouldn't it just wouldn't make a difference to the rest of the story. You know, they would still all wind up in the same place. So pretty much, yeah, that's all I've got to say about the story itself. As for the characters, you know, I was expecting, like I said, you know, a little in-depth squad. Maybe somebody dies, there's an intense death scene or something. So this squad mates, you have Alelo, and then Styles is kind of the main supporting guys. Zussman is your main boy. He's kind of like the sidekick, but he's no Frank Woods or anything. Daniels talks at least. It's kind of interesting, but, you know, everybody's kind of like, his character just sounds so stupid. And then there's Pearson and Turner. Turner you don't see too much of. Pearson you see a lot of. That's Josh Duhamel's character. I absolutely love Josh Duhamel. He's the only reason I can stand Transformers 2. It's a solid movie. Pretty much he's doing most of the heavy lift in there. Absolutely love him as an actor. As a character in this, I just was very let down because they basically shitted on his character, the writers. It wasn't Josh Duhamel's part. He did an amazing job acting, and he is a badass Marine. I mean, the mission where you're in Paris and he kicks down that one door. I mean, I was just thinking, like, that is the last guy the fucking Nazis want to see kicking down that door. Some, like, 6'3" Marine. And really, Josh Duhamel's character in this game, Pearson, was just so poorly written. And I don't mean written in a sense of like dialogue way, I just meant that the fact that they made him the fucking villain of the game. Really, when you're in World War II, you have two options. You can make up like a pretend villain, like a general or something, like they kind of did for one mission, or you can just make the general enemy the entire German army. That's what World at War did. You know, there wasn't an enemy of that game. There was Amsel in the first mission, but really in general, it was just the entire enemy as a whole. In this game, the fucking fact that they made Pearson the enemy really just pissed me off. For one, it made no sense to have an American soldier be the enemy of this game when you're on the fucking side of the Americans. And number two, he was an asshole for just complete no reason. Most of the time here, I'm wondering, like, god damn it, how would anyone that fucking much of a dick ever come to that position of power? It just made absolutely zero sense in my opinion. And really, for the most part, most of the time Pearson's being an asshole, it's just for literally no goddamn reason. I absolutely understood none of why the fact that they decided that, hey, we're gonna make some asshole character the leader of the squad, and he's going to be the main antagonist of the game. Absolutely understood none of it, and the fact that, you know, you didn't ever face off against him in the end of the game. You just kind of dealt with his shit until at the end when you cross the Rhine River Bridge, and he's just kind of like, okay, I'm a cool person now. Really, it was just so poor in my opinion. That's really all I had to think of the game. The one diversity issue, now this was just absolutely sad that this had to come up, but it did come up even after the fact that they had that whole multiplayer ordeal thing, which is really stupid in my opinion, the fact that they have all those girls in multiplayer. But for the campaign, if you didn't hear, there was a bit of a issue going down, or a little bit of controversy going down. So there's a black guy, his name's Howard in the campaign. Then there's a girl in the campaign, there's this like French, I believe there's actually like two girls, even though they look fucking so similar, and then like two of the girls are in zombies. But it was for the campaign's part that I saw two different sides of this argument. The one side of the argument is like, oh, they're just fucking throwing in black people and girl people because it's 2017, they feel the need to. I don't think that should be in the game. And then other people were saying, oh, they don't have enough of it in it. They just put in a black guy and a girl just to say that they had a black guy and a girl. There should have been way more of it. Really, I have no side on the debate. I mean, Call of Duty 3 had a girl in it. That's as much as I remember about that game before any, you know, gender shit was coming along. And then most of the Call of Duty campaigns have had a black guy somewhere in there. For most that I can remember is Bowman in Black Ops, and despite, you know, him not being the biggest character in the game, he was a pretty cool character. I mean, it's fucking Ice Cube, and he's doing the voice acting too for the multiplayer, which was awesome. But really, you know, I feel at this point in time, there's really nothing the game creators can do. I feel like they did all they could, because basically anything in this day and age, whether it's a video game or a movie or even a fucking book, if you don't have a black person and a woman in it, you're just going to get criticized. And if you do have a black person and a woman, you're going to get criticized because you felt the need to put them in the game. Really just a bullshit situation. And for Sledgehammer games, there's really just no way out of it. Same thing with Battlefront 2. It's just, that's the way it is nowadays, despite the fact that Disney started it all. Other than that, that's all I got to say about the campaign. Again, not the greatest experience. The missions are kind of shit. Story was just shit. Characters weren't that good. Wasn't a very memorable storyline, which is all I really wanted. I just really wanted a storyline that was memorable. Maybe a mission or two that were pretty fun. Maybe some characters that were memorable. Maybe a character death scene that was very emotional. But absolutely none of that in this game. Pretty much, if you're playing this campaign, you're just looking for something to do besides multiplayer and zombies. Would like to say, though, at the very end, the fact that single-player campaigns and games are slowing down a lot. Obviously, Battlefront 1 didn't even have one. Battlefront 2, they put one in there just for the fact that people said, like, why isn't there a single-player campaign in Battlefront? And you see how it's gone. Infinite Warfare did not go over well with that campaign. This game's campaign didn't go over that well. Black Ops 3 was just a fucking shit show with them trying to make it Inception 4. And really, nowadays, the way I look at it, single-player campaigns in multiplayer games aren't that good. Another example would be Battlefield 1's War Story. It just wasn't that good. Battlefield 4's campaign wasn't that good. Pretty much the only great campaigns I can remember were like the golden age of COD, like Modern Warfare, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, and Black Ops 1 had just stellar campaigns. Battlefield 3 had a stellar campaign, in my opinion. Just the sheer badassery of it all. And really, we just haven't seen great single-player campaigns since, and the fact that it's that way, I think it's because they're just not putting time and money into it. Think about Modern Warfare 2's campaign. They had to get, like, Hans Zimmer, all those voice actors back, put a lot of time into thinking about how that campaign was going to work out, and it probably cost them a lot of time and money, and it was very good, but I feel like game developers just don't want to spend that time and money today to make just the single-player campaign when they should be focused on multiplayer. And if you could ask me if I could trade this single-player campaign for like just 3 more multiplayer maps, even base multiplayer maps, or like 2 multiplayer maps and a war map, I would 100% trade it. Really, if the fact that single-player campaigns just aren't going to be if they're not going to put effort into single-player campaigns these days anymore, then I honestly would not care if they don't have them in the game. So that's all about I've got to say under that remark. Like I said, wasn't really too good of a campaign. That's my review of it. Nothing really that memorable about it. So other than that, go watch my multiplayer and zombies reviews and other videos, and I will see you guys later.